Welcome to the Big Match Revisited, a chance to look back at the way football was televised more than 4 decades ago. This edition was shown in February 1975, when football pitches were rather different to the perfect surfaces seen nowadays. It was tough back then, as we see quite clearly in this edition of the show, with Brian Moore, as always, guiding us through the action.
And welcome again to the Big Match. Today, 3 matches that have a big bearing on promotion and relegation. Our main match is between Luton, struggling so close to the bottom of the table there, and Newcastle United. And our studio guests are from that game, the Luton manager, Harry Haslam, and one of their bright young stars, 18-year-old Ron Futcher. We also have a vital match at the top of the First Division between Manchester City and Everton, and some superb action from the leading match in the Second Division between Norwich City and West Bromwich Albion. There's your letters, of course, and this week's Big Match playback, the day that Crystal Palace stuck 5 past Manchester United. But first of all, it's down to Kenilworth Road in Luton for their match yesterday against Newcastle. A pitch that's been really heavily sanded for this vital match for Luton Town. A match, of course, that also meant, above all, the return of Luton's former great scoring star, Malcolm McDonald.
It's exactly as I remember it the very first time I came here. And the atmosphere is exactly the same. It's a small ground. It doesn't get a great crowd, but the crowd that does come makes a hell of a lot of noise. And as you can hear right now, I'm going out on this pitch and I'm going to try and do my best to help Newcastle win the game. Of course, it's nice to see all the old faces again. It's the first time I've been able to do it for 4 years, and everybody's marvellous down here. They're treating me now exactly as they have done in the past, and I'm going to have a great day. I hope we can just win the match and it'll make it even greater.
The teams for this match then, Luton are unchanged for the 8th successive match. Not so Newcastle United though. Defender Pat Howard pulled out yesterday. His wife was having complications over the birth of their first child, now happily overcome. Irving Nattrass was taken ill in the night and returned to Newcastle. And David Craig was called in at the very last moment to wear the number 2 shirt for Newcastle. In fact, here is David Craig, and he only arrived at the Luton ground after the drive from Newcastle at 2:15. I wonder if you can tell the Futcher twins apart. This is 18-year-old Paul, and here we have the fella in the studio today. That one is Ron, the commentator's nightmare. Here's the referee, Ronald Perkin, from Stafford, and the crowd now waits for the start. So Newcastle kick off, and McDonald instantly, a long kick there. Well, that's a fairly spectacular start there by Supermac, but straight into the arms of Graham Horne against Luton Town in these orange shirts and black shorts, knowing that this is a match that they dare not lose. Bottom of the table and 6 points behind Chelsea at this moment, who are 4 off the bottom. Here's Graham Horne, their goalkeeper. The pitch very heavily sanded. Good jump again by Faulkner. I'm not at all sure he wasn't pushing McDonald in the back though. Smith beaten by Buckley, and Buckley continuing his run, but I think Glenn Keeley will get him there. Luton's throw. Luton bound to be a little bit apprehensive, knowing that the safety net really is almost being pulled from under them. Had such a terrible start to the season. Their form lately has been so much better though. Ron Futcher. Another throw to Luton, which Alan West will take. Ron Futcher. And now Paul Futcher. And a clearance by Frank Clark. And now Mickey Burns is away. This is a chance for Newcastle, played on for McDonald. No, just over the lines for Kelly's leg down. McDonald was onside, and you could see on his face that he was annoyed with himself there. There was so little in it. A brilliant break by Mickey Burns. I'm surprised that he didn't take the responsibility himself and have a go at goal. He passed to McDonald, and McDonald's shot is deflected wide for the corner. So Nolte now with the corner then for Newcastle. Smith was right in there, Keeley is right in there, and Luton were in all sorts of trouble again. Flicked back again by Nolte, and an offside decision.
Horn, I think, feeling that he was left a little unfairly exposed there to that break by Burns and McDonald. Good bit of advantage played there by the referee. It was handball, but he saw that Luton were in possession, and McFall has got to come chasing out. Could have been confusion there. So Mickey Burns has got a knock on the head. Paul Futcher sideways for Steve Buckley. John Aston. West. Nice build-up now by Luton. John Ryan collecting it. Jim Ryan. And Ryan continuing his run well across the face of the goal. No, and it wouldn't come, and it looked as though it almost had to be there for Husband. That was a lovely build-up there between the two Ryans, Jim and John. And the low cross by John Ryan, and Husband couldn't quite get his foot to it. And the chance had gone. Kennedy. Newcastle's throw. And Kennedy with it. Paul Futcher and Faulkner between them will shepherd it. John Ryan still taking that off Tommy Craig. That's going to be a corner. Here goes John Faulkner, hoping to add to the one goal he scored this season so far. Ron Futcher on the goal line. And Faulkner, in fact, and Futcher are about the only big men who are up there. Aston's corner, curling in and causing troubles and giving Luton another corner. So Ron Futcher there again, MacDonald right back. McFall just fisting that one away, but Faulkner is there, can play it back for West. Hit first time, and somehow Craig turned that wide. I don't think McFall would have known too much about it. Nice bit of play by Faulkner, playing it back for West. Hit first time, and Craig turning it wide for another corner. Jim Ryan with this one. Crowd now getting behind Luton. Curling in again, Ron Futcher's header, and McFall jumping and catching safely. Buckley, Jim Ryan, his header going straight to Tommy Craig. The curling cross towards Malcolm MacDonald and too high. Just glancing the top of his head, but a nicely curled cross though by Craig. Futcher causing Clark one or two problems there. And then they gave it away. Clark again. Played for David Craig. MacDonald's backward header. Paul Futcher missing it. Luckily for him, John Ryan was covering. Nolte. This will fall now for Ron Futcher. Played on this time for Husband, and he hit it first time, but the ball had to go down. Futcher's first time ball and Husband's first time shot, but without really the power to trouble McCall too much. Frank Clark. Smith playing it off for Kennedy and now for Craig. Good piece of play there between Craig and Kennedy. And now Kennedy again for Newcastle. What a good ball there for Stuart Barraclough. Crossed in again deep, and Faulkner had to head that one away. Behind for the corner to Newcastle. Must have been 7 or 8, maybe 9 passes in that Newcastle move, and Faulkner finally heading it away. Played wide for Kennedy. Keeley offside. Or maybe even MacDonald offside, but certainly Newcastle showed him an offside position and a free kick to Luton. Clark, Kennedy, Nolte, Paul Futcher, Husband, very busy indeed. West making a good run. What a good piece of running by Alan West now for Luton Town. Play back again for Husband, hit first time! Well, that was a lovely Luton move. That really had nothing to do with being bottom of the table. A really first-class quality move involving Husband and involving West, and as the cross came over, flashed just over that Newcastle crossbar. Faulkner, last minute of the first half. Ron Futcher's up there again. Jim Ryan's coming in quickly. Husband is in there, hit first time, and McFall had to dive across to clutch that one before it went into the corner. Good first-time shot there. Good goalkeeping by McFall. John Ryan, Paul Futcher, Alan West. John Ryan wanting to take the throw for Luton. A half minute of this half to go. Good touch off by Aston. Ron Futcher trying to get it back to him. Kennedy hit high towards Burns, inside his own half when it was played, so he couldn't have been offside. And here's Smith, who's made a good run as well, or rather Barraclough. Barraclough now for Newcastle. Here's a chance, and will it go? No! And John Ryan finally scrambling that one away. Great run there by Barraclough. Very dangerous all the while for Luton, until they finally scrambled it away with John Ryan. But that is the end of the first half. A goalless first half, but an entertaining one for all that. Certainly Jimmy Husband has been as busy as ever and has got probably more shots in on that Newcastle goal than anybody else. So we're left with a goalless first half, but a lot more, of course, to come on the big match this afternoon, including our big match playback today. There'll be plenty of goals in that one. It was the day that Crystal Palace beat Manchester United 5-0. But here, as Malcolm MacDonald goes off the field again, the half-time score at Kenilworth Road in this First Division game is Luton Town 0, Newcastle 0. We'll be right back with the second half. So welcome back as Luton Town now kick off, attacking the goal to our left. 0-0. So important, as I said earlier, that Luton get 2 points from this game. They haven't had a bad run, in fact. They've lost only one of their last 6 league games. They also lost up at Newcastle to a goal by John Tudor, who's another of the missing members of this Newcastle side this afternoon. Ron Futcher going on now for Luton. In fact, only 5 of the Newcastle Cup final side out here in action today. Manager Joe Harvey really bemoaning the injuries that have hit them and the bad luck. So people like Hibbett, Tudor, Pat Howard, Irving Nattrass. So really it's an opportunity for Luton to press home that sort of advantage, and that's what they'd hope to do now as John Faulkner goes up again for this corner from John Aston. Faulkner's there, but he doesn't get his head to it. It comes off a Newcastle head, if anything. And McDonald there, beaten by Ron Butcher and beaten unfairly, giving Newcastle a free kick. So Ian McFall with the free kick for Newcastle. Did well there. So too is Craig. So David Craig, as the gap opens up for him. Well, he might well have tried a shot there himself. McDonald playing it back for Tommy Craig now. And now wide for an offside Mickey Burns. In build and to some extent in looks as well. He's so like Lou Macari of Manchester United. Aston keeping it in well. Husband. Pushing and shoving going on there. Frank Clark finally penalised and Luton get a free kick. I think I'm really 100% is Jimmy Husband this afternoon. So Steve Buckley, who's got a good left foot, with the free kick for Luton towards Peter Anderson on the far side. Butcher, oh, goal! A beautiful goal by Ron Butcher. Oh, a good left-foot swinging cross. Free kick there by Steve Buckley, falling on the far side to Ron Butcher. A tremendous shot, a deflection on the way, but no doubt that it goes down to Ron Butcher. So that's the breakthrough that Luton Town wanted. Back to Graham Hall. You recognise him, of course, Luton director Eric Morecambe. When he arrived here, he said, I suppose you've come for the laughs. I think probably inside him he's got plenty to laugh about at the moment. 1-0 up for Luton. Great feeling of cut and thrust about the match at the moment. Barraclough on the far side. Ryan can't go with him, and now this could be dangerous for Luton. Oh, and Paul Butcher, will it go yet? No! In the end, it's whacked away by Anderson. Barraclough very nicely indeed from Newcastle's point of view, getting round his man. And there you can see it looks almost like a battlefield. 3 or 4 players are down and needing treatment. As I say, Barraclough getting round his man well. Butcher, in fact, making a mistake marginally as that ball came over, and then a tremendous scramble until it was finally whacked away for the corner. Well, he's got it in the face, and he's pretty dazed. Wouldn't be at all surprised to find that that is a broken nose, or certainly a very badly bruised bridge of his nose for Graham Horne. Keith Birkinshaw, the Newcastle coach, coming off, and Roy McCrowan, the Luton coach. And Graham Horne, I think, could well be in a little bit of trouble. The feet were really flying there in that desperate situation. And a bit of plaster being applied. But it's not the moment to give up. And John Ryan, you can see there, come on, we've got to pull ourselves together now and hold on to this goal. Just over 20 minutes to go, and a corner then to Newcastle. Headed away by Jim Ryan. Now Tommy Craig again. Anderson. And that'll be a bit of respite for the goalkeeper Graham Horn, and Clark turning it back to his goalkeeper, Ian McFall. Burns in towards Nolte. But everybody's fighting now in this Luton side. Buckley. Ron Futcher. Aston. Played for Jimmy Husband. Oh, and now Alan West, is this the moment for him? No! A good save by McFall. Again, a lovely piece of build-up again, involving Aston, and finally coming through to West. And McFall spreading himself superbly, and very bravely. Mickey Burns, Malcolm McDonald. Now Futcher's off again, and he's leading the pack as well, but Newcastle are coming back. 3 defenders are there. One of them inevitably again, Frank Clark, the number 6. But Luton get another corner. No praise too high for that fella there, Frank Clark. So Faulkner's up again for this corner from John Aston for Luton Town. And Husband hits the advertisement high behind the goal. Faulkner's header. Clark's miskick. Aston. David Craig. Anderson, nice play. Here's West. Played on again for Aston. Now can he get the cross in? No, he's shown too much of it. Two chances to make openings that have come John Aston's way this afternoon that he really hasn't taken. And now Burns for Barraclough, and look at the space with McDonald in the middle. Till it was covered by Anderson, who's got plenty to say to his defence. So Barraclough with the Newcastle corner. Deep one, too high even for Keeley. Tommy Craig is there. Kennedy is there. Smith is there. And now for Burns. A shot. Oh, and saved by the goalkeeper's feet. Oh, and no. Faulkner took such a long time to get that one away. And it's still not away now. Smith played wide for Barraclough. Hit first time. And still they can't get it away. Now they can. So what a remarkable save that was from Graham Horn off his feet. Good save by Horn. They say goalkeeper should be feet conscious. We're now in injury time at the end of the 45 minutes. Good play by Husband, and there's been plenty of that, as there is indeed by Alan West on the ball now. Fair challenge though by Nolte. That'll fall for Husband and hit first time. Wide of that Newcastle goal, and McFall is furious with his defence. Paul Futcher beating Malcolm McDonald in the air. McDonald coming back for some more, and Futcher winning it again. Now what's he going to do? He loses the ball now to Burns. Now this could be dangerous, but the whistle had gone. Foul by Burns, apparently on Paul Futcher. And that's what Mickey Burns thought of it. Almost there, Luton. Played nearly a minute and a half of injury time. Looked like a shove in the back, and it was. On Husband, a free kick to Luton. Newcastle bringing everybody back. Ryan with it. West's header. One Futcher back again, and Glenn Keeley away. Now Paul Futcher. Now John Aston for Luton. Last seconds of the game. A cross going in, and it must be McCall's. Two minutes of injury time gone as Kennedy takes it up now for Newcastle. Crowd are whistling. They want Mr. Perky to blow that final whistle and give Luton these 2 points. Craig now. And Aston right back to defend this time for Luton. Frank Clark coming to gather the ball. Tommy Craig. Played in again to Nolte. That's a good ball, and it could be dangerous. No, Barraclough showed too much of that to Faulkner. And Faulkner will put it where it's safe. Referee looks at his watch again. Nearly 3 minutes of injury time gone. And now it's Malcolm McDonald for Newcastle. No! Before he can do anything about it, the whistle is gone, and the game is won by Luton. The only goal of the game, scored by Ron Futcher. Although that tremendous shot of his took a deflection on the way. So Luton are the heroes. And there's disappointment for Malcolm McDonald on his return. A sharp contrast to the joy everywhere, particularly behind that left-hand goal, where the Luton fans now maybe can see just a glimmer of hope for survival in the First Division. So final scoreline here then at Kenilworth Road in Luton. Luton Town 1, Newcastle United 0.
So Luton's promising run continues. They've lost, in fact, only one of their last 7 league games. Their manager, Harry Haslam, is here with us, one of football's happiest characters, I think, no matter what. We also welcome him and the young man who scored that winning goal yesterday, Ron Futcher. Ron, let's turn to you first of all, because that was a fairly spectacular goal, but it took a deflection on the way in, didn't it?
Yeah, slight deflection.
But you're having no doubts that it's a goal for Ron.
Oh, no doubts whatsoever.
Tell us how it came now. Good free kick, wasn't it, by Steve Buckley?
Yeah, Steve Buckley, far post. I've gone wide, and...
Did you sense they were going to miss that?
Yeah, I had a feeling they were both going to miss it. And they both did, and that's it. I just bounced up there, and very unusual left foot shot by Mabel.
You got the winner against Ipswich and a hat-trick against Wolves, and the winner now against Newcastle. You're making a habit of it. You don't really seem to be finding it too much of a struggle in a struggling side.
No, I don't think I would, actually, you know. I went in the side to enjoy myself, you know, get a few goals if I could, and happily I did, like, you know.
What about your brother Paul? Is it a good influence, the fact that he's in the side with you? Has that helped?
Yeah, it's a great influence, yeah. He knows my game, I know his, and both help each other a lot.
He, in fact, was the man who cost all the money, £100,000 as a 17-year-old from Chester. You, if I may put it, came along more as a make-weight, didn't you? Yeah. Has he, as a boy, always been the one who's caught the eye, as it were?
Yeah, he has.
You've been in the shadows?
Not in the shadows, a bit close behind, but he's one who's caught, you know, the eye most of the time.
And he's not with us today because he goes back home to Chester at weekends, is that right?
Well, about every 3 weeks. I used to go with him, but I went home last week and he never. And this week, there's no stopping him this week, you know.
Why is that?
Well, his girlfriend lives in Chester, and can't go without seeing her for a couple of weeks, can he?
Do you find you're getting a lot of help from the senior players in the Luton side, that the spirit is good as well?
Oh, yeah, everybody's helping each other at the moment, you know. And you get a lot of help, yeah, it's great. Great bunch of lads.
And you feel, really, that you'll be a First Division player next season as well?
I feel, yeah, no doubt.
Are you... You're smiling away there. Are you equally confident, Harry?
Me? I am. I've said all along that I still felt we had enough ability to come through, and I still feel that, and the youngsters have made it a little bit brighter. And obviously, as we are now, 7 games, we lose 1. That's not being big-headed at all, but I think that's due to the lads. They've had tremendous fight, heads up, no reactions at all. Each match they go out there and they give the club more than 100%, and that's nobody can ask for more than that. In fact, if we did this at the top, we'd be holding our place.
Yeah, I think the great thing was the spirit in the side yesterday was tremendous.
It's tremendous. It is right the way through the club. You know?
It was a vital match to win, though, Harry, wasn't it?
Tremendous.
And the results also went
won, really.
Yeah.
You know, because Mac was coming back, and Joe, and nice for us to win now and again, and particularly against clubs where you know people. They don't take it so badly then.
Exactly. I think you had a night out with Super Mac, didn't you, as well?
Yes, but quite a good evening, well, and good morning too. But it was necessary. I think, you know, you let your hair down now and again, and Alan West was in the company too, so it was good, and it was... We didn't talk about football much, but no matter what we did, it didn't matter, we'd won. You know, that was the key, and the lads were so pleased.
You very nearly lost a goalkeeper yesterday.
We certainly did, and it looked a good run. In fact, I thought we couldn't lose a goal in the first instance, but...
Tell us about it, Harry, here.
Well, as I say, Stuart Barracup, he'd made a tremendous run here, and I thought when he flipped the ball back, I didn't notice that Paul had cut in the flight, which you'll see it, lays it back, and Graham chasing the ball, but Buckley's coming in equally as quick, and he thumps his right foot home, and then pulls it back, luckily. Well, because even now he's come out with 7 stitches, which is terribly... it's altered his facial outlook a little bit at the moment. I thought he was playing with the sand at first, Graham, as I said to him.
Where were the 7 stitches, then?
On the nose, on the bottom of the nose. It just got real whacked. You know, I mean, fair play to the fella. He did great to play on. You know, good credit to him.
Let's just talk about the twins again, the Futcher lads. I know you had trouble telling them apart, first of all, but at 17 to pay £125,000 for the pair of them, that seems an enormous gamble in anybody's terms.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes managers have to back their own outlook 100%, and this was one I felt was a must. Particularly Paul. I hadn't seen Ron so much then. We watched him later, and I'm still convinced now that he'll be a good player to the club, very good player. So if you split the difference, as I said, it costs 60,000 each, it doesn't sound so bad.
You were telling me you're not happy the way he runs, though?
No, well, I think he carries his money in his pocket here somewhere, because he runs along and we can't get him to take his hand off. And now every player in the club is telling him your hand, and the coaches, Roy... I think Roy talks in his sleep at night about this left hand, but we have to keep at him. And so now we've decided he goes to a coaching school for running alone.
And you agree with this, Ron?
Yeah, definitely.
Your running isn't as good as it should be.
No, it could be improved, 100% really.
Harry, what could stop you laughing? Because, I mean, you know,
I don't think anything ever will. I mean, obviously, there's a couple of minutes when you don't, you know, you get sick or you get knocked down or... But, you know, I think that everything's funny. In a way, no matter how serious it is, it's still funny. And, you know, if you look at life as it is now, as I said, I feel that if a man fell off a bike, I might laugh immediately the way he fell off, but then I go and help him.
Yeah.
And the kids sell me the right idea, because you read the national paper, and on the front page, the country we haven't got, and 9 pages is outrage, bombs, and you name it, and on the back page is 5 managers being fired. I go with the kids, they read the Beano.
Harry, thank you very much. I tell you one thing before we go. They say that footballers are superstitious, directors are superstitious. These tatty, terrible old gloves, some of the worst I've ever seen, belong to the Luton director, Eric Morecambe. They originally belonged to another Luton director, Reg Burr, who bought them when Luton were in the 4th division. They were a lucky charm. They took them right through to the 1st division, and he kept wearing them until Christmas. And he thought the charm had worn off. Eric said, well, let me have them. Eric has worn them ever since, and he's never seen Luton lose. And he said, if you take them into the studio tomorrow, for goodness sake, make sure that Harry brings them back, because we want them still. Our thanks then to Eric Morecambe for that. Thank you, Harry Haslam, and thank you, Ron Futcher, too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now it's time to welcome our viewers from Southern Television, and let's have some more action now. We come to the battle at the top of the 1st Division between Manchester City and Everton, and it looked to be a raw and really a miserable sort of match, to be honest. So we've just got a couple of snippets for you today. The match was covered by Granada. Commentator Gerald Sinstadt, Manchester City are in the white shorts.
Headed away by Booth. Stewart to Marsh. Stewart again. Summerby, Royal, and Bell coming. Royal, down for Bell. Summerby, still Summerby. Bell, into the net. 17 minutes gone, and Everton never really got this under control. City were improvising, several players had a go, and it was Bell's left foot which finally put it past Adai Davis, who must have been unsighted. Bell's header. Dobson. Royal nodding it down for Tuart. And Tuart, a good shot! Yes! Well, Tuart had a go just now, which Davis only just grasped, but this one he made no mistake with. Nodded down for him by Royal, and a cracking right foot, which the goalkeeper again seemed to see late. Good hard cross headed away by Kenyon. Telfer. But City beginning to pick up all the loose balls in midfield. Horswell. Good ball it was too. Marsh surely will score. No, stopped by McNaught. Marsh took his time, thought he had ages of time to pick his spot, and McNaught had got back to cover for the keeper. Clements. Telfer. Doyle shutting him out. At the expense of a corner. Just about 5 minutes left now, as Everton have their 10th corner of the game. Evidence that they've built up pressure, but they haven't really been able to turn it into clear-cut, concrete chances. That was very nearly an own goal. In fact, it was, I think, by Horswell. Bad luck for Mick Horswell, having come on as substitute, turning the ball past his own goalkeeper. I think we'll confirm it as we look again at Telfer's corner. And yes, that was certainly Horswell, and maybe Donachie as well.
But with Ipswich losing as well, Everton still stay in top place. But now on the programme, it's time for your letters. One that we could only briefly mention last week that came from Bill Taylor of 23 Wharfdale Court, Rushmore Road, London, E5, who told us about a 76-year-old referee. Yes, 76, who's regularly in charge of matches on Hackney Marshes in East London. It's 76-year-old Henry Smith. Old Henry, they call him. He's refereed one game a week at least, he tells us, and that for the last 33 years. I can still run around a bit, he says, and I don't stand any nonsense at all from the players. And I'm glad to say that old Henry is 77 tomorrow. We wish him a very happy birthday in advance, and I just wonder if anyone can find an older, active footballing official. But now on the programme, it's time for the Big Match Playback as we step into our library and come out with one of our great matches from the past. There have been more requests for this match, I think, than any other. It's the day that Crystal Palace thrashed Manchester United by 5-0. Don Beamish, who says he's 40 years a Crystal Palace fan, and Phil White, who claims he's 45 years a Palace fan, asked to see it again. So too did Kevin Morgan of 49 Grangecliff Gardens, South Norwood in London, Graham and Paul Chilton of 32 Westway, Shirley, Croydon, Don Sharp of South Norwood, and 14-year-old Alan Atkins of Caterham as well. We go back to the day in December 1972.
Don Rogers. Oh, nicely inside the full-back for Mulligan. Here's a chance, and a goal! Scored by Mulligan, but made beautifully by Don Rogers. Cook there, but Kidd there a fraction before him. Mel Blythe following it through, stabbing one there for Cook. And now Hughes, and now Mel Blythe. Oh, and he missed the sitter. He got in a superb position. It was a beautiful pass for him, and he missed the sitter, Mel Blythe. Still Hughes, still Hughes. Whittle, a save by Stepney. All played inside for Mulligan. And another goal! Paddy Mulligan's second. Made for him by Don Rogers, just as the first one was. Ian Moore.
Again attacking Mulligan, and Payne as well, who was filling in behind him, and letting one go. Sort of action that will put a bit of spirit and a bit of heart into Manchester United. By the way they played for so much of the first half, it looks as though they badly need it. Whittle. Rodgers, and he's onside, Don Rodgers. Kicks it one side now. That's there. That's number 3. Tremendous presence of mind by Don Rodgers. Morgan. Cross again, Law with a header. And Law so unlucky with one of those typical jackknife headers of his. That just glistened off the top of the crossbar. Here's up. And Whittle goes on. Hughes. Whittle. Well, that's incredible. Yes! Alan Whittle! Alan Whittle! His first game and his first goal. Clyde coming in for Palace. And this has been their greatest afternoon. And there's Rodgers. Will this be 5? It's going to be 5. It is 5.
Well, that's a day that'll bring back happy memories to Selhurst Park. And our last match today is also a real beauty. It was a vital one at the top of the second division between Norwich and West Bromwich Albion, both well in the running for promotion, of course. Anglia's cameras were there. Commentator Jerry Harrison. Norwich are in the plain shirt, Albion in the stripes.
Hughes up there for the long one. Up goes Hughes, beaten by Powell, Maguire, Cantello, and Miller getting involved in there. Glover to Johnson. Johnson getting by Machin. Good run by Willie Johnson. Can he pull one back? Yes! No trouble at all. Joe Mayo. And the run by Willie Johnson. Joe Mayo puts Albion into the lead. All coming from Willie Johnson. He gets it out there on the left. He takes on Machin, straight by him, able to cut in, drive it into the penalty area, and an easy side foot shot from Joe Mayo. Machin doing well to control that one. Suggett. Boyer. Miller's gone down the front. Now it's for Doug Livermore. Can he get there first? Livermore still going. Still with a bit of space. Livermore. And it's gone out. What a battle. Just too wide for him to get it in. It kept going. It was a 50-50 ball. Osborne came out, but Livermore won it. Had to take it wide. And then from the acutest of angles, just ran it along the goal line and out. Suggett. Rushbury coming into things. Brown to Hughes. Now Glover can't turn it. Machin gets it away. Good play by Machin. And a good pass too to Maguire. McDougall's gone herring up the front. He wanted the early one, but it's delayed, and Miller comes in well there. What a good ball. And now it's McDougall. Miller coming again. It's a penalty. Well, McDougall goes down. A moment to pause and think about it. Then the referee pointed directly to the spot, and John Weil, the man who tackled him, is absolutely aghast. As Miller pushed the ball forward, McDougall taking it wide, the tackle comes in. Is that a penalty? Yes, says the referee. So it's on the spot, and it's Ted McDougall to take it with a chance of equalising. McDougall against John Osborne. Simple as ABC. Ted McDougall with his 17th goal of the season. Up goes McDougall, beaten by Rushbury. Machin's in there. Johnson and Machin really fighting for it, and it's Hughes going forward. He's got a good chance to shoot, and he's got it. And what a quick break by Hughes, and that's the way to finish him off. and Norwich City rocked back on their heels. The ball breaking out of that scramble, mainly between Machin and Johnson, picked up by Hughes, who powers his way forward, and nobody can catch him. Goalkeeper comes out to try and narrow the angle, but he nets very, very conclusively for his second goal of the season, and West Bromwich Albion's second today, 2-1. Well, that's another shock then for Norwich. It's 12 minutes into this second half, and they've got to fight back again, even to get on terms, when it looked as if they were going to swamp this Albion side. Miller, and that comes off Brown. Hurt his ear there. Hughes to Cantello, well cut out by Mick Maguire. Boyer's gone up there, holding himself back. Maguire now in a good shooting position. The lob, yes! Maguire, his first goal for Norwich City, and a classic. A lovely run. Boyer goes forward, taking a defender with him. Maguire comes inside, aims for a shot, spoons it up. The goalkeeper come off his line to narrow the angle, and left high and dry and out of the game. The ball's in the back of the net. It's 2-2, and they're equal 1 minute after going behind. Well, in the last two games, West Bromwich Albion conceded 3 goals on each occasion. Wonder if they're going to concede 3 goals this time. 2-2 at the moment. Well won by Stringer. Now it's Brown. And straight to Miller. Now McDougall's gone herring down the middle. McDougall can get it. A chance for number 3, Ted McDougall. A real Ted McDougall classic. He sets off down the middle like a dose of salt's gone mad. Miller sees him, gives him a lovely pass, and from then on in, West Bromwich Albion are in desperate trouble, and he slots it home very, very professionally indeed. So now it's Miller with McDougall going on the right, and now McDougall's got a chance to cut in. Boyer's coming to the near post, but he's changed his mind and gone back to the far post, and that's the end of that one. But Albion are still fighting, and particularly Johnson. And there's trouble now. That's bad. Now Machin hit Johnson there, and I'm afraid he's off. Well, that was absolutely ridiculous. Johnson went through there, and he certainly had a go at Machin. And Machin is being sent off. Not the whole story. Well, let's see what's happened to Johnson when he gets up. But I'm afraid it's the end of the game for Mel Machin with 3 minutes left. He retaliated after Johnson had hit him. He swung a punch at Willie Johnson. The referee saw it, and I'm afraid Mel Machin's got to go.
And Norwich hung on to win by 3 goals to 2. But what about that sending off of Mel Machin? I don't think there's any doubt at all that it was something that had been boiling up right through the game. And as we pick it up here, you can see Mel Machin, number 2, successfully tackling Willie Johnston there, getting the ball away from him. But Johnston goes through and catches Machin on the back of the legs there. And as they go out of picture, you can see Machin retaliating there, clearly provoked. But there's no doubt at all that he was throwing a punch there, and anybody on any football field anywhere in the world, if he throws a punch, then he can expect only one thing if the referee's doing his job. Gordon Kew, the referee from Amersham, was doing his job yesterday, and quite rightly he sent Mel Machin off, hard though it seemed. That's it. I hope you've enjoyed the programme today. Don't forget a special cup tie edition of On the Ball next Saturday lunchtime. 3 ties from the 5th round in the big match, of course, for you next Sunday afternoon. Today, though, we leave you with the thought, who'd be a goalkeeper? First of all, there was a goalkeeper whose heart must have missed a beat yet, even though it was experienced John Osborne of West Brom, when this happened to him at Norwich yesterday. He knows how close it was. There's the goalkeeper with all the courage in the world, Graham Horne of Luton, with 7 stitches to prove it when that happened to him against Newcastle yesterday. There's the goalkeeper with no chance at all, with a sort of thunderbolt coming up now from our guest Ron Futcher. That's Ian McFall of Newcastle.
Futcher.